Hey everyone. So I didn't do my John Maxwell yesterday because I had other things to do, but I'm doing it today and I'm focusing on this law of the legacy. So how do we leave our legacy? We leave our legacy by depositing it in other people. We don't necessarily have to build institutions or build companies or anything like that. Every time we have an encounter with someone, or we have a friendship with someone, whether that friendship lasts or not, we are leaving a legacy within them. And they take that little piece of us with them wherever they go, because we come from different perspectives, different backgrounds, different places in Canada, and we can learn from each other. That's what I have found on my journey in Canada. So John Maxwell uses the idea of Jesus demonstrating. So first he invites people to come and see, then he tells them to follow him, and then he takes them on a journey with him. So you'll find that throughout the scriptures, and even when organizations do their recruitment, they'll invite people to come and see. When they do their internships for university students, they'll invite the people to come and see. They'll choose the people that they want, and then they will have the opportunity to work alongside others and to have mentorship, to have shadowing in the companies that are good. In some companies, you don't get that, especially when you're a contractor. Like when I was a contractor, I didn't get any shadowing. I had maybe one day where they basically showed me, these are the systems, this is what you have to do, and then I was expected to get on with it. So I had to be pretty good to hit the ground running and to do what I had to do, because there was no training and there was no support. And it's more difficult when you're doing it that way. It's the same with immigrants, or when you migrate to a country. For me, I was left a refugee when I was in England. And when I met with the immigration officer, she told me, I can try to put you through as a refugee and it will be easier. And I said to her, no, I don't want that. I checked online and I have the points to come into Canada as a skilled worker. And the executive assistant skills was on the skill shortage list at that time. Plus I had my degrees from Wits University in South Africa. So that's how she put me through as a skilled worker. Otherwise, she was going to put me through as a refugee. And because Britain had already denied me that option, I didn't want to take another chance and have Canada also deny me. So I wanted to show them that I have something to offer. And it was unfortunate. Every company I worked at in England was surprised that they didn't keep me, because I had been working. I was there on a working holiday, and people were willing to give me references and to vouch for me, and the British immigration turned me down. So I looked at Australia, and I didn't have enough points to go to Australia. I was short a few points because they wanted you to have your master's, and I didn't have that. So I came to Canada. So there was an invitation to come and see. And then I came here, I lived here, and then those first 4 years were good. So I got my citizenship and I took the allegiance to Canada, and I gave up my Zimbabwean citizenship when they took away our rights in Zimbabwe. And then I became a citizen of this country. So now whatever I do, I try to help. I try to build up people, organizations. I do it with mentoring. I push back when needed. And you see those same principles in the Bible. So when Jesus sent people out, like I was commissioned by Regis College, we push back when needed. We give positive and negative feedback when needed. So if you look at when the disciples came back, how Jesus gave them praise for the good things they did, but he also corrected them in places where they needed to be corrected. And he didn't expel them. He didn't say, well, you've done this, so now go and sit at home and think about what you've done. Because sometimes people don't know. They may not realize what it is that you are getting so offended about, or what it is that you don't like. So he took the time to explain to them what he wanted done differently. And we see that with Peter, where he said that you are the one that believes in me. And he also corrected him when he said, get behind me, Satan. He wasn't saying to him that you are Satan, but he was saying that Satan was working through him. So we too also do that. We have our assessments, we have our deciding about how we want to proceed, how we want to move forward, and seeing. And if companies are not willing to listen to us, then what happens is that the jobs land up going elsewhere. Because if you don't look after your people, and your people can't perform for you, the companies will pull the jobs if it's an outsourced job or another job, and they'll take that business elsewhere. And that's what's happening now with TD, with the fines. That's what's happened with other companies I worked for, including Teleperformance. We lost clients. They pulled all the clients because it's not just me going through it. And I know my mother says, she always tells me it's you. It's just you doing it. You are the problem. And I tell her it's not just me, and she doesn't believe me. The whole police investigation had to happen for her to believe that it wasn't just me. So that's one example. But there are thousands of us, women and men, that have gone through working in call centers, that have landed up losing our health, becoming debilitated. I was starting to look like an ape. If you look at the pictures of me before, I was really starting to look awful. And I've made an effort to lose weight, to use my essential oils. So on top of just finishing a harassment case and a police investigation, I went into a stressful environment, and I was using my essential oils at home every day. I was exercising, I was doing everything, but it took so long to lose just that little bit of weight. Now you can see it in my face, and you can see that I'm starting to look better. But for a long time it got worse before it got better. And I had to use my essential oils for at least 3 years before I started noticing an impact. And I had medication from my doctor to help me, because I was getting very, very sick. I was getting infections that needed very powerful antibiotics for me to overcome them. So it took a toll on me. And many of us provided our feedback to Teleperformance and to TD. And if they don't want to listen, if they want to let things carry on becoming worse, then that's up to them. But as human beings, if you can have 3 minutes between a call, that helps you. You can put yourself on break or not available. You can go to the washroom. You can come back. If you have 30 seconds, that 30 seconds goes in no time, and the next call's coming in. And if you're taking too long, then they're like, what's the problem? Why are you taking so long? And then your scores get affected because the company has bad policies, or the company is doing something wrong, and the customers are screaming at you because you are representing an outsourced company. And you give that feedback to the client, they don't want to listen. So in the end, their profits go down, their profits fail. Yes, you can call the CEO and have me removed from that campaign, but you're not doing yourself any favors, because I'm just an in-between. I'm just a go-between trying to help you. But you, as the customer, choose to be abusive towards me. You choose to scream at me, yell at me. People do that even to doctors. They go to a doctor, or they'll come to me for massage. I'll tell them this is what we have to do. These are the steps we have to take. And they'll be abusive. So why do you come to me? Like, don't bother. And even when they used to tell me, I don't want to speak to you, I want to speak to somebody else, I'll say, okay, that's okay. I'm willing to help you, but if you don't want to speak to me, then put the phone down and call back. Because that's what you have to do. I mean, ultimately, I'm a human being. I'm not a robot. And I'm happy that AI is taking away some of these jobs because we're all stressed. We've all got our own problems. We're doing a job. We're trying to help people. And instead of people being grateful and thankful for what we're doing as medical care professionals, in customer service, as executive assistants, they're abusing us. So it just gets too much after a while. So these are the things we can learn. We can learn about from John Maxwell, where we're looking at demonstration, gaining the experience, and then doing the assessment. So when they give us those assessments, so like when we do our interviews, we also assessing them. They're not just assessing us, because many of us don't come from North America. Many of us have come from third world countries. So their English and the way they do things is not the way we do things. So if you keep telling me, oh, you failed the test and the client wants you to pass that test, I'm obviously not going to pass that test because there's something in that test that I don't understand. And the client's not willing to give me an opportunity to go on the job and to learn that and to prove myself like I did in 4 or 5 other campaigns at Teleperformance. So obviously that's not a good fit for me because I need to work with clients who want to retain their customers, who want to keep them, who want people who have a good education. I'm a master's degree qualified person. I'm not stupid. Maybe the test is stupid. Did they ever think about that? They should. So when they are assessing us, we are also assessing them. Because what is happening to me is not just happening to me. I've met many people who have left Teleperformance and gone on. Some people left even without having another job to go to because they couldn't handle the abuse and they couldn't handle the stringency and they couldn't handle the way good people get treated, while other people who are breaking the policies are retained. And yet it seems to be a pattern that Canada's promoting because it's happening at TD, it's happening at Teleperformance, it's happening at other companies. So maybe that's what they like. They don't really want their companies to perform well, to do well. Because when we tell them and we give that feedback to the clients, they don't want to accept it. So I mean, we talk about human rights. What human rights? What human rights do we have really? You can't even report the abuse to the police. It must go through other people. And what if those other people are not telling the truth? They're telling it from their perspective. And what about my perspective? What about what I've gone through? Oh, just do your work. That's not the way management is supposed to be running things. And I'm not just saying it, I've worked in management in this country. I worked in management in all the banks, at CIBC, at BMO, at HSBC, and I can tell you people cried when I left BMO and when I left HSBC. They were shocked that HR made the decision not to keep me. They cried because I had team members reporting into me. Not just here in Toronto, I had team members reporting into me from the UK, in England, and I had team members reporting into me from Vancouver. So everyone was upset, including my direct manager, Michael Carter. They fought for me and they wouldn't let them keep me. So how is that fair? Not only to me, but to all the managers that I worked with. So I really don't understand what they're doing and how they are making their decisions. But it's not up to me. So I make my assessments, they make their assessments. And if there's no mutual ground, like there wasn't in this case, Teleperformance laid me off because they couldn't fix my ID. For my health reasons, I couldn't take an overnight shift. So they laid me off. So now I'm looking for a new opportunity. And I've put my name forward on speaking boards. I've put it forward in other places. I've registered with agencies. And so the process continues. But whatever deposits I've made in people, whether it was at Teleperformance or HSBC, at BMO, CIBC, TD, I've left a legacy in them, and they will remember me. So the question for today is, who will carry your legacy? Whether it's in your nieces, your nephews, your aunts, your uncles, your parents, somebody is carrying your legacy. And for me, I'm happy with the legacy that I'm leaving. Other people may think I'm the problem, including my mother, but my conscience is clear, because I wasn't the one going around murdering people at Credit Suisse. I wasn't the one turning a blind eye when there were problems. I wasn't the one saying, yeah, it's fine, do whatever you like, come to work drunk if you want. I wasn't the one doing it.